Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Shireen. I'm joining you from our UAE office here in Dubai, and today we are going to discuss as a continuation part of our earlier vlog in which we discussed about global mobility and options available to people, especially from Africa and the people in general. Today it's very important for you to first understand the background of what I'm going to discuss with Chinwe, of course, who's the expert with citizenship by investment programs as well as residency by investment programs, and she's handling this department of ours, heading this department of ours here in ACE Dubai along with me. So today we are going to discuss about a migration trend which is off lately been really recently we've seen a lot of migration trend reporting in which a lot of people have opted for visas which are related to residency. Like for example, if you talk about Canadian residency, it's also a program which is giving you a residency program, right? Like, but it's not giving you direct citizenship. So the basic difference between citizenship and residency is the programs, the countries that are offering residency is because they want you to first come, invest something, live something, do something for the country, and then be eligible to get the passport. You must have heard about citizenship by investment and Caribbean passports, but this is slightly different. A lot of European countries are doing it, a lot of other countries are doing it. Each country has a similar reason, and it all boils down to the similar fact that they want something from the investor, and the investor in return gets all the benefit enjoyed by the residents of that country. With that note, Chinwe, hi, how are you?
I am doing very well, thank you.
Chinwe, first I'm going to discuss with you about which countries are offering. As I gave a background about residency, if you can give some options to our listeners here and to our viewers here, what countries are doing residency by investment programs?
Absolutely. Just as you mentioned earlier, there's so many countries that are offering the RBIs, the residency by investment, compared to the citizenship by investment program countries. So we have so many, whether it be in Europe, in the Middle East, or even in North America, that are offering direct residency, or maybe temporary residency, as some would call it, or permanent residency by investment. So, and the investment can take all sorts of forms. So they can take the form of, let's say, business investment. It can take the form of real estate investment. It can take any form at all. It can take the form of they need you to be able to make a capital contribution to, let's say, a company, or let's say you need to take up a bond, a government bond in that particular country. So it can take different forms. It's just important for the listeners to understand that it has to do with the country in particular and what their own system is there for, let's say non-nationals or non-residents to be able to acquire the residency. So we have so many countries in Europe that are providing the opportunity for non-residents and non-European citizens to be able to get the European residency. So we have countries like Greece, we have Malta, we have Portugal, we have even other countries that
Austria.
Maybe might not be exactly well known.
Beautiful countries, man. Beautiful countries are offering residency by investment, but not all countries have similar kind of demands. But all in all, it's either contribution to the fund of that country, like Chinwe said, or the real estate option. Now, Chinwe, I have seen a lot of potential growth of residency by investment from India, for example, and a lot of Indian investors have shown interest in Portugal of lately. Especially in 2022 that we saw the recent trend of Portugal has increased residency, also because of language requirement is I don't think there is a lot of language requirement. There is a lot of residency, like a physical stay requirement. So because of that, these two factors, Portugal is high in demand. But my question to you here is, and it's for all of I'm sure every viewer watching here must be having this question about residency by investment, is that what exactly and how do you put value of the real estate? Because as an Asian, I can tell you, like as a South Asian, I can tell you that I am really interested to know the ROIs on the real estate that I spend money on besides the residency.
Right. Absolutely. So one of the main ways by which, as I mentioned earlier, by which a lot of our clients are getting the residencies in Europe in general is through real estate investment, and Portugal is no different. In fact, that is one of the most popular ways to get the residency in Portugal, through which, they're having all of these other benefits, which is the visa-free throughout the Schengen area. They're able to come in there and leave if they want to. They don't necessarily have to. So they're having all of these many benefits through the real estate project scheme. One important thing to note before I go into your question is the real estate investment is a safe investment option. That's one thing we always start with all of our clients, because everybody is afraid. They're not sure about the economy, if it's going to go bust one day. So one thing we assure them of is that whatever projects that we are bringing them into to make the investment in, they are all safe investment. That's number one. And they're getting their return on investment, which is primarily the residency. Yes. Because at the end of the day, this is not a real estate product. This is a residency product, which the government of that country is offering to them. So the main thing to note here is that they're getting their main reward, as well as on top is like an icing on the cake. The cake is the residency. The icing is the ROI that they get.
That is right.
Yeah.
So when you talk about real estate returns, so after a certain point of time, are we able to sell that real estate as well, or is the applicant stick to that particular property through which they got residency initially?
Yeah. Absolutely. So they can resell, but after a certain point in time.
Yeah, I think it differs for each country.
It differs for each country. You're supposed to keep that property for a certain period, and after that period, you can sell it. Yes. But for that period, to maintain the residency, to uphold your golden visa conditions, you have to keep that property for a certain number of years. It could be 5 years that the government demands you to keep it. Some have 5, 7, some even have more conditions. So, but it all depends on the particular country.
Yeah, interestingly, UAE has always been a hub for businesses across the globe, for investors across the globe to come and open the business here. So with UAE, there is a myth of golden visa, and people think that, okay, because the visa is only dependent on the company, hence I'm not a resident. Whereas that's not true. UAE offers residency. It does not offer citizenship, but it does offer residency. And residency also has its own way. Like golden visas being one of the ways which has of lately been very much in limelight, because the investment bracket has gone down. So the real estate investment in UAE, as well as the company incorporation investment is UAE. If you could highlight some of the key points of those programs for everybody.
Absolutely. So those are two of the many ways by which people are getting the, let's say, residency, UAE residency in the country. So one of the main ways is the company formation. Company formation just simply means I establish a company, and through that company, I'm able to sponsor myself for a visa. So a lot of our clients are actually accessing the opportunity, and it has actually seen an uptick in recent times, where a lot of them are coming from countries like, let's say, France, Australia, Canada, the US, many countries in Africa, India, Pakistan.
Everybody wants to use the tax benefit, I believe.
Exactly.
Everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. And they're forming these companies, and through this company, once it is formed, depending on the business activity and the jurisdiction, once again, whether it's a mainland company or a free zone, then we can apply for the visa on their behalf. And we can apply for sponsorship of their dependents as well as their domestic help.
That is right.
So all of that is covered, and that's purely under the company formation.
That is right. So interesting, the fact about this whole conversation is that there are so many options that we cannot touch base in detail any one program in this vlog, but we'll continue to make such more series of global mobility, because honestly I'm a big fan of global mobility. I do feel in today's time your income is your self-earned income, and you should have certain kind of tax benefits to it. You should have certain kind of freedom to use it. You should go where you are, just treated the best. So there are certain special vehicles, and there are ways we structure about our clients' assets related to immigration, related to everything we do for them. And in the end, it all boils down to the fact that they should feel that their income is there and everything is protected. So we'll do detailed sessions about each of the country offering residency in our next podcast. Stay tuned, and if you have any other question, query, concern, put in the comment section, and do follow me on Instagram for our regular office updates. Thank you.